Well, thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. We begin with that suspect wanted for a string of armed robberies. Police say he's hit dozens of businesses across the metro area.
And tonight he is finally behind bars after an hours-long standoff in what appeared to be one last attempt to try to slip away. Alma McCarty breaks it down.
A quiet afternoon on Hayden Island interrupted. Dozens of law enforcement officers brought armored tanks, guns, and canines and stuck around for hours trying to get a serial robbery suspect to surrender Tuesday.
Lots and lots of officers.
Elise Blum was sitting in her car and saw the suspect speed in around 4 p.m.
A gentleman in this vehicle apparently came ripping around the corner, and I heard this really loud noise because he had a flat tire.
She said he jumped out of the car and ran. Officers tell us he made his way to a condo, locking himself inside.
None but 15 seconds later, there were 4 squad cars behind me.
One of the comments they made on the loudspeaker was, "We know you're in there. We can see you hiding in the closet. So come out with your hands up and nobody will be hurt."
Dennis Lakin and his neighbors looked on as the special teams surrounded the condo, though he didn't know right away that the man inside was wanted for dozens of robberies across the metro area.
I've heard about that individual they were looking for that had 30-some robberies to his name.
One of those robberies happened just hours before at Eagle, a bar in North Portland.
I'm still processing the whole thing. It was literally like 24 hours ago.
Ty Givens was working behind the bar at the time and saw the man walk in. He asked for his proof of identification. When the man didn't show it, he asked him to leave.
He said, "By the way, while you're at it," and I turned around to see what he was talking about, and that's when he presented a gun in a bag and was like, "Just give me the rest of the money and be quiet about it."
Givens explains he handed over the money and the suspect walked out the door.
The first set of cops showed up instantly because I guess they were already chasing him. They asked a few questions and then left because they were in pursuit again. They heard he was somewhere else.
That somewhere else was Hayden Island.
Well, I didn't have any doubt that they were going to get the guy. I just didn't know why the guy was waiting so long to turn himself in.
The suspect, named by police as 32-year-old Andre Mazer, eventually surrendered. They say he shaved his hair off in an attempt to change his appearance.
Mazer was arrested for just 2 counts of robbery, but many more charges are expected. Portland police have linked him to 14 other robberies, but law enforcement from Vancouver to West Lynn suspect he was involved in more than 30 robberies since April. Laurel?
Well, we're glad they finally caught up to him. Thank you, Alma. Now let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. Detectives in Hillsborough are investigating what they're calling a suspicious death. Police say the person was found in an open field off Northeast 25th Avenue near the Hillsborough Airport yesterday afternoon. The Washington County Sheriff's Office has sent out its search and rescue team to look for any evidence that might help explain what happened.
The city of Portland is revealing more about how it was hacked. Someone made off with nearly $1.5 million meant for an affordable housing project. The city has since reimbursed the housing provider for the stolen money. A spokesperson says someone gained access to a city worker's email account, then manipulated a transaction that was part of their normal job duties. The city says no employees contributed to the breach, at least not on purpose. Now, it wasn't discovered, though, until a second attempt weeks later, which failed.
Former presidential candidate Andrew Yang is weighing in on the race for Oregon governor. Yang announced his endorsement today for Betsy Johnson. Yang ran as a Democrat in the 2020 presidential election and also for mayor of New York City last year. Johnson is one of 3 candidates in the running for Oregon's future governor. Former House Speaker Tina Kotek and former House Republican leader Christine Drazan will also appear on the ballot for the general election this November.
Well, the city of Vancouver has a new ordinance, but it's not about parking or property use. Instead, it's about protests, banning them in front of private homes.
Catherine Cook shows us what led up to the city taking action and why some people say the ordinance violates their rights.
It's a shame on you guys. I'm sick and tired of this.
At Monday's Vancouver City Council meeting, it was clear some people really disagreed with the city's proposal to ban protests at private residences.
You're not going to take our right to free speech. You're not going to take our guns.
Council members hope the ordinance puts a stop to recent individually targeted protests against city officials at their homes. That includes city attorneys, volunteers, and even the mayor. Most protesters were angry over state mask mandates and COVID restrictions, things out of city officials' hands.
It was not peaceful. It was upset neighbors, elderly neighbors, where individuals came up onto their porches and rang their doorbells carrying long arms and explaining why they were protesting in front of homes nearby. That was extremely upsetting.
The ordinance, under the city's criminal code, expands the list of noises that could be considered public disturbances in neighborhoods, like the use of air horns. It also allows the city to take legal action on behalf of public employees who are individually targeted by protests. That includes filing restraining or harassment orders. The ordinance still allows protests and targeted picketing, just not in residential zones. But places like public parks and in front of City Hall are okay. For some people, that misses the point.
And when you work at home, your office will be at home into the next lockdown. So where are they supposed to protest? Here, when you're not here? Our next lockdown, you're going to be in front of your house, right?
Others support the ordinance.
My family and I had been stalked.
Some shared personal experiences dealing with groups that have harassed them at their homes over politics and school district issues.
There is a right way and a wrong way to be an activist. Harassing, picketing, and stalking anyone in their own home, a place most consider a haven and a safe space from the world, is the wrong way.
This is about citizen safety and not suppressing anyone's First Amendment rights. This ordinance needs to be approved because extremists in this area are harassing, doxing, and stalking anyone who doesn't agree with them.
In the end, the City Council agreed unanimously.
Stober?
Aye.
Hanson?
Aye.
Mayor McInerney-Ogle?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
It's a nice relief. We hope we don't ever have to use it, but it's another tool in the toolbox, so to speak.
And Catherine joins us now. Catherine, some are questioning if this new ordinance is really constitutional. What does the city say about that?
Laurel, city attorneys cited a 1988 U.S. Supreme Court case out of Brookfield, Wisconsin. It held that a similar ordinance there was constitutional because it was limited in scope, content neutral, and served the government interest of protecting residential privacy.
Thank you, Catherine.
Well, talk about a sight for sore eyes. It has been 2 years without, and today the first big ships made their return. Yes, it is Fleet Week. The Rose Festival tradition means vessels with the Navy, the Coast Guard, and the Royal Canadian Navy are sailing up the Willamette and into downtown. Now, they've been visiting Portland's waterfront since 1907, and the City of Roses is lucky enough to be one of the few U.S. ports they're going to stop at. And from the Chief Petty Officer to Coast Guard Commander, they are happy to be back.
Those sailors, they're excited to show off the ship, as well as show the great citizens of Portland a little bit about what they and the Navy do.
All right, he's a little stoic, but it's been a while, so we'll give him a pass, right? Tours of the ships are free, but you'll need an ID and proof you are fully vaccinated to climb on board. Plus, one more thing, closed-toed shoes, so please leave the flip-flops at home.
And with all those ships arriving, expect some traffic in the area too. Crews will lift the Broadway, Steel, and Burnside bridges, which means delays tomorrow from 3 to 5 p.m. So you've been warned. You can find more information right now at kgw.com.